All right, we are going back to our breaking news at the top of the hour today. Nats Park, of course, evacuated earlier. The game suspended because 4 people were shot outside of Nats Park. A very scary scene there. Our Colby Satterfield is there with the latest on this. Colby?
Hey, Charlotte, we are expecting to hear from officials with public safety with the mayor's office and also with the Nationals on what exactly transpired inside the field or inside there tonight. Here's what we do know, and you can take a look at the crime scene right now. This is South Capitol Southwest, right outside of Nats Park. 4 people were shot during tonight's game. Fans inside heard the gunshots. There was panic and chaos inside. Folks thought that there was a shooting inside the stadium for a period of time. People were ducking for cover. I'm told that family members were hugging each other. We could see just people just leaving in an instant. Some folks left immediately. Then there was an announcement that it was outside the park, but they continued to evacuate and then they postponed the game. We're expecting to learn more details on what exactly transpired at the time momentarily, of course. We will bring that to you online. We will be streaming that, and if we get it in the next 5 minutes, we will, of course, bring it to you live. And again, we've been talking with folks who were inside at the time. Just a really scary situation is what they're saying transpired. They said that all of a sudden, just the area they were in just started emptying. People were ducking. People were telling others to hide. I'm hearing from people that were also inside that they saw players getting taken off the field. Also heard that some players were going to get their family members and taking them inside the dugout. At the time, some people chose to leave immediately, and I'm hearing from some who did that they grabbed their children and they were leaving. In the next minute, we are going to be getting an update from officials. They are making their way right here to come and give us an update, Charlotte, and we will bring you the latest as soon as we get it. I will also be tweeting out updates if you go to our WUSA 9 Twitter page. Live in Southwest, Colby Satterfield, WUSA 9.
All right, Colby, I want to ask you, you've been there for a while now on scene. You described the mood a little bit to us, but describe to me again, I know you've been talking with some families and just people that were frankly scared to be at a ball game tonight. Tell me a little bit about what you're hearing from these families who were forced to flee.
Yeah, I mean, they're telling me that they was just terrifying. They didn't know what was happening in the moment. Some people were hiding. I saw some pictures and videos where they were just hugging their loved ones and looked emotional. I was talking with the family and their children were shaken up. Just a really, really terrifying moment for everyone that was inside and while this was all happening. Now, right now, Charlotte, we have the officials walking up and they are expecting to be giving an update.
All right, and while I still have you there, I know this is the second shooting you have covered today, Colby, and we're going to hear right now from DC Police.
All right, we ready?
Yes.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Sean Benedict. I'm the Executive Assistant Chief of Police for the Metropolitan Police Department. At approximately 9:31, we received a call for service at this location here at South Capitol and O Street. Investigations at this point have led us to believe that 2 vehicles were involved in a shootout. So one vehicle pulls up, another vehicle pulls up next to it, engages that first vehicle in gunfire. An uninvolved citizen that was attending this game but outside the stadium was struck by gunfire. It was a mobile scene. The vehicles left and proceeded down south on South Capitol Street. One of the vehicles has been located and is being processed by law enforcement. The second vehicle we're still looking for, and as that information becomes more available, we'll put that out. 2 individuals from that empty vehicle have been recovered and being interviewed at local area hospitals. They are known to law enforcement, so we will continue that investigation. The individual, the female, who was struck by gunfire outside the stadium is receiving medical care and is expected to be okay. The investigation continues at this point. Detectives are doing their normal course of business and looking at video and interviews and such, and so I just want to assure the public that at no time during this incident were individuals inside the stadium attending the game in any type of danger. This was not an active shooter investigation or incident, and it's not being investigated as such. Everything took place outside the stadium. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Captain from the Park Police to talk about the interior security. Thank you.
Were there 4 people shot?
Right now we have 3 victims
3.
That we're looking at, yes. That's right.
And 2 of them were involved in the shooting.
That's correct.
So it's Scott Fear. I'm the Vice President of Public Safety and Security for the Washington Nationals now. And I can tell you what took place in the stadium after the sound of gunshots. We quickly announced to shelter in place and have everyone stay inside the stadium. We worked very closely with MPD. They did a great job letting me know what was going on. They were right there with me at third base gate, and we held shelter in place for approximately 10 to 15 minutes. At that time, we said fans were allowed, not that they had to, but they were allowed to exit through center field gates and right field gates on the other side of the stadium, because MPD had let me know that it was safe enough that they could go out of the gate that way. So inside the stadium, there was never anyone inside the stadium with a weapon. The Metropolitan Police Department are working inside the stadium with us at all times during the game. They're outside the stadium in large numbers, and I can't thank Metropolitan Police Department for making sure the stadium stayed safe and everyone in the stadium was safe. So we work very closely with the Metropolitan Police Department, and I want to thank them again. And our fans did a great job listening to the announcements, sheltering in place, and then exiting the stadium orderly when the time was safe.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Geldart. I'm the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice for Washington, D.C. Just to cover really quickly, you heard both from the chief and from the Nationals themselves what happened here. This was an isolated incident that happened outside the ballpark. We want to make sure fans and our residents know that it is safe to come down here to the game. This was an isolated incident. We have measures in place around the game, many which MPD mentioned, as well as our folks on Nationals, both seen and unseen. We'll be making sure that we increase that tomorrow, so there's a good sense of security around the stadium. But we believe this was an isolated incident. Again, had nothing to do with the game itself tonight, and that it is safe to come down here and folks can come down to tomorrow night's game. They'll actually get to catch the last part of the game from tonight, and they'll get to see the game tomorrow. So we'll take any questions.
You're a Fox 5 DC reporter. You say it is safe to come down here, but people say they don't feel safe. They're asking you to secure the city. What is your answer? What is being done? Sure.
As you know, Sierra, we talked earlier today at one of our incidents that we had last night. The Metropolitan Police Department is out here. We are securing the city. Again, we have a police presence down here, both seen and unseen. We're going to be increasing that tomorrow so folks have that sense of security. We'll continue to do that throughout the city. Our police department, both on our police department side and on our prevention side for violence, is doing a lot of work throughout our city. We're seeing our numbers coming down. We do see our numbers coming down in shootings and homicides throughout the city. We want to keep that. Any shooting, any homicide is tragic. The shooting tonight was tragic. Tragic that it happened here. But again, unrelated to the ballpark, we have measures in place. We have law enforcement in place. We have two folks right now that we're talking about that are involved in this. That's how we get people off the street. That's how we make it more safe.
Just to clarify, we have a total of 3 shooting victims. 2 of them were involved in the shooting, the exchange of gunfire. Then one, like innocent bystander. Did she work for the stadium, or can you say that?
She was an attendee at the game tonight.
Attendee at the game. And so, what about the other car? Do you have a description? There was a helicopter up. Do you think they're in the area?
No, we don't think they're. We don't know if they're in the area or not. We do not believe, because we did see the vehicle fleeing the area. The investigation is continuing. We have a lot of video from the street out here. We have some witnesses, and now we have 2 folks we can talk to as well.
Did they drive themselves to the hospital?
Don't know.
What's the condition of the person that was...
Violence. In this area, we've seen a lot of violence in the last couple of weeks, in the last couple of months. Can you talk about that? Will there be more patrols around here on the regular, and not just because of what happened tomorrow?
So we have patrols that go through this area on the regular for tomorrow night and for the foreseeable here. The measures that we have around the game will increase both those that are seen and unseen.
And I'm not just talking about during the games. I'm talking about during the regular
Yep.
daytime hours.
Actually, the first officers that responded here were the officers from the first district, not the SOD units that are here for the game.
Did the condition on the person that was shot that was a fan?
Non-life-threatening injuries.
And the other 2?
The other 2, we don't know yet. I'm still waiting to hear.
What is the root of the gun violence here in DC? Just yesterday, a 6-year-old girl was shot and killed. Today, Nats Park had to evacuate. Seems like these situations are just escalating.
Actually, we didn't have to evacuate Nats Park today. You heard from Nationals themselves. They did a shelter in place because they didn't know exactly what was happening, which was the exact right thing to do. They kept everybody safe inside the stadium. And then as information flowed quickly after that, they were able to say, you can stay inside or you're available to leave at this time if you want, and where you can leave from. You know, we have incidents that happen in the city, whether they're gunshot incidents or other incidents that happen all the time. These are things, we have good professionals that work in the city, we have good professionals that work in our police department, and that we work with here in places like Nationals Park to make sure people are safe and things continue to happen.
At no point the people involved have made it into the stadium, right?
Say that one more time.
At no point people involved in the shooting made it into the stadium?
No, it had nothing to do with the stadium itself.
The two people that you have, are they in custody? Have they been arrested, or what charges will they be facing?
So they're at the hospital right now, getting treated
How serious?
and being questioned.
How serious are
Don't
they?
know at this time.
Final question. How many do you have a total number of suspects?
So right now we have 2 that are at the hospital that we're talking about.
Any more that you are aware of that you're searching for?
We're still in investigation. Thank you. Okay, thank you everybody.
Yeah, you guys just heard 3 people were shot, 2 people that were involved in a shooting that happened outside of Nats Park during the game this evening. One of the people that was shot was an attendee of the game. So far, they say they have 2 suspects that are in custody, but they are in the hospital right now. No word on their condition. The only condition that we were able to learn a little bit about was the attendee that was outside the stadium at the time, but we are told that that is non-life threatening. Again, we also heard from officials with Nats Park, and he said that no point were they told that they needed to evacuate, but they were told that they could leave. And again, we heard that this whole shootout started between 2 vehicles, a shootout between cars outside of Nats Park right after 9:30 at O and South Capitol Street Southwest. Waiting to hear, 2 suspects in custody. Again, they are in the hospital at this time, and they did reiterate multiple times that no one at any time inside the stadium was in danger, and they did reiterate that it is a safe place to go and that they are still encouraging people to come to tomorrow's game. But talking with fans that were here tonight, it was a very chaotic and very terrifying experience inside there. Charla.